Hello again and welcome to Marsha's Safe Space. This is Marsha's Safe Space. This is a space where I come and I share my opinions. The opinions and views shared on this channel are mine and mine alone. They're not affiliated with anyone and I don't think they're influenced really by anyone. This is of course your host, Marsha speaking, your pilot in command, and all I want to do is lend you with grace. And yeah, let's get the show on the road, you guys. Welcome. So of course, today we are just coming in hot. We are going to speak about what has been going on. There's so much instability in the world. I do not know where to begin. There is so much going on. But anyway, I would just want to focus what is going on in our little lovely country, South Africa. There is this issue of illegal immigrants. We have seen what has been happening in the media, the Dudula movement, right? We've seen what it has been doing. And we have seen now recently the arrest of its leader, Lax. We all know why we find ourselves where we have a lot of undocumented people in our country, basically to a point where now we don't have enough capacity to accommodate everyone. It's even failing to our own citizens and even worse to taxpayers. We all know what got us here. It's corruption, of course, and our borders are wide open because people take bribes. People get in and they get connection with the Home Affairs and they're prepared with documents already. Why can't we talk about how if we can actually bring back the rule of law, we can see all these things going away? When are we ever going to hold the government accountable for its failures? Because you see, it does not help. I'm not saying that I am for or against Dudula movement or whatever. I'm not here to share that type of opinion. It does not help to fight against the people we see in the streets, because it's just going to instigate anger. It can actually turn into a war. That really does not, it is not solution based. It does not help also to think you're just going to evict people and get into people's property and start requesting documents from people as though you are some authority. It really doesn't help, because that's against the law also. And meanwhile, this thing is happening in the ground. The people who are supposed to be held accountable, the people who are supposed to give us answers, are saying absolutely nothing. Zilch. We haven't had anything from our president. From what I read, I have not read anything in that regard. So I don't know about that, hey? I don't know if he said anything, but I haven't heard anything from him. I have not really heard anything solution-based, even from our leaders. Even in the small parties, I'm hearing pointing fingers. Hey, stop taking foreigners. Hey, stop. Who is actually going to come forward and say, we are here because you guys are corrupt? No one really is asking, why are South Africans fighting against foreign nationals in their land? You see, it is very important for us South Africans to hold these conversations, or rather to open a dialogue about these topics, because the media, I feel like the media is very biased. It's not telling the real truth. As much as I consider our African brothers and sisters, brothers, we are from the same continent, we have one love. I legit do not hate people because of where they're from, sometimes because of the color of the skin. No, I try and judge people based on the character. With that said, I dream of an Africa where we are united and we are one. We don't have borders in between us or between us, and we trade freely with each other, and it's amazing. Do you know what I mean? But as I said, I dream of it, right? At this point in time, every country is sovereign. Every country has its laws, and people who live within that country should abide by the laws. And also, every country runs on its own systems so that, it deals with its problems. In South Africa, we run on a system whereby we go to work, or we are hired, be it in the private sector, in the public sector, wherever the case may be. In what we earn, we then give a bit of it to the government, so that the government can provide infrastructure, social grants, facilities for the public, healthcare, for obvious welfare, yes, yeah, welfare, sorry. We try and ensure that the facilities that are within our state are enough and can accommodate the people in that state. And we try and identify each and every person who is in that state, right, who is in the state, rather, in South Africa. We try and identify for safety purposes, for, multiple reasons or numerous reasons why we try and identify people. It is important for us to maintain our country as a sovereign state. As much as our morals tells us that we are one and we love each other, which is true, it is very true, I do believe it is true. But then we should remember that there are laws which govern us, and as as we are expected to abide by those laws everywhere in the world, surprisingly, people are expected to abide by the country's laws. Why can't the same be applicable in South Africa? Why can't people treat South Africa with the same dignity and respect which is given to other countries, where if there's a law in place, you respect the law? And the argument that, South Africans also are criminals and, we also break the rules or we break the law, that argument does not really hold water, because if you're a guest and you're a guest at someone's house, you don't disrespect their house just because they disrespect, you know what I mean? Or just because you feel like they disrespect their house, so you are entitled to the same thing. I don't even know what to call it, but yeah, I feel like that argument does not really hold water. But there is some truth in the argument, because it is true that as South Africans, we self-sabotage. We sell our identity, we sell our RDP houses, we give up our space. We expect things to remain the same, yet we don't respect our own laws, we break our own laws. People call it an invasion. South Africa is being invaded by foreign nationals, right? But if you look at how South Africans conduct themselves, we are basically enabling it. Half the people are enabling it. And it's so sad that people who are in power, obviously in South Africa, as we've seen, want to benefit from the power, and they give very little to the people who are the lowest in the food pyramid, in the hierarchy. People who are at the bottom of the hierarchy. It's very discouraging to see the people who receive very little being unable to sustain the little that they receive, or rather grow it even better. The idea of unity, yet neglecting that we can't be united whilst we have borders that govern us. It's a dream. It's a dream that is yet to be attainable, but I don't think it's a dream that we can expect to attain immediately. You see, Africa, not just South Africa, Africa is part of the bigger world. In the bigger world, Africa, when we are being honest, is not really a key player. We are really the fish in a pond. We're just a fish in a pond. We are looking into fighting issues that are being handled by the sharks in the seas. Before we can look into being one, united as Africans, we can never attain that through matches. We are matching against that, we are matching against this, we are matching against whatever. We never ever hold a dialogue to see what are African problems and what are African solutions which are good for the greater good of all Africans. And then we can look into being firm in what we want to do in our progress, rather, going forward. And then we can see into how we grow and we protect what we have in order for us to have a say in the bigger table, with the world out there, not just within us. Until we really get to sit down with our leaders and have a conversation, we are not going to attain it with, I'll be a politician, I'll first serve my interest and then look out for the interest of Africa, because that's exactly what happens. We've seen that as Africans, it seems as though we're not very good into with being led by politicians, or rather the political system of the West. It seems as though people squander, people are selfish, people become dictators, and it never really ends well for Africans, right? So we need to have people who are young Africans, I believe, or rather even old people, because with age comes wisdom. As young Africans, we need to have older Africans in our spaces who will advise us. People will have a dialogue, is to say, let us research, let us have our own research facilities where we will find out what are our issues and problems that we can solve collectively. Another reasons why South Africans need to have a conversation is, when are we getting real politicians? I'm sorry, but when are we getting real leaders? It is jokes on every end, and that is sad, because come voting time, we need to vote for someone, and we don't have much options. I'm not sure whether it is because we are a nation where if a person comes and they are popular and they are the largest person in the room, we vote for them. We don't really consider their manifesto, or rather how they market themselves, or their conduct, or their history, or we don't really look into the character much of the person. We just look into the personality of a person. Ucula kamnandi, ujava kamnandi, ukhuluma kamnandi. Or uthe, Pan-Africanism, black consciousness, songs of voting. Is it because we love amapiano a lot and we love housewives and we couldn't be bothered? When we meet up, all we talk about is, oh my goodness girl, you look cute, oh my goodness girl. I see why other African people would call us lazy. I'm definitely not saying we are lazy, because I know how hard South Africans work. I can see it, but why people would say we are lazy, like I can actually see why. Because you see, as South Africans love to have our people think on our behalf. We love to have people implement for us and then we follow. We really do our own research. It indicates something about how our people think. And this, I'm saying this definitely not to insult my lovely people. Love you. But then it's the truth. We as a people have this tendency or this attitude where it's jokes. We make fun of things. We have fun. That's all we seem to do. There's a large number of South Africans who work hard, who are serious and who are whatever. But in general, South Africans just vibes. We are vibing. Cruise mode. There's another thing that we need to consider. Hey guys, let us be honest. Compassion, empathy are emotions which are very conditional. It is very difficult to have compassion and empathy towards someone you feel like does not belong, or someone you don't know, someone who's foreign to you. It is very difficult, more especially if the socio-economic conditions that you live under are not very nice, and the people who are foreign to you, or people you don't know, or people who are not of your land, who are occupying that space. It is obviously going to be very difficult for you to be compassionate, for you to be empathetic with those people, or for you to even care about those people. I'm saying this because there are a lot of people who are like, foreign nationals, they're coming from countries because where they come from, it's not very good, the situation is hard, which is true, I agree. So if you have your own place in the suburbs, and you live comfortably, you can afford bread, you are not really affected much by our economy and the standard of living, then good for you. I feel like if you live in those conditions, you shouldn't be in a position of telling people that they should have empathy, they should have compassion. You don't know their struggles. So if people really have to rely on the government to receive anything, and they feel as though they're not receiving enough because the infrastructure or the facilities or the resources are not enough to accommodate even the people who are not off the land, It feels like, as a South African in that situation where I have to fight for South African resources with a person who's not South African, it feels like you are selling them out. It feels like you really don't have compassion towards them, yet to expect them to have compassion towards other people. As much as we love each other, and as much as there are foreign people who are good, who are great people, who we learn from and we share the same values with, and that is why, if you are that person for the country, you look out for the best interest of South Africa. We do have due process for that, where you can attain permanent citizenship. There's so many ways through which South Africa welcomes people, which South Africa shares the same values with, and South Africa is happy to have, right? There's so many negative effects of South Africa accommodating people who are undocumented and people who cannot be held accountable for their actions. We can see how, although crime is not only committed by foreign nationals, but we can see how it has skyrocketed so high. And also, when you look at the numbers, there are a lot of foreign nationals who do crimes in South Africa. Most crimes which are very public, most crimes are perpetrated by foreign nationals. It is an unfortunate fate, and that people want to try and just dismiss. It's a fact. It isn't there. You can go watch the news, do something before you argue nothing. If we keep trying to be politically correct or trying to sound welcoming, and then it means we are giving up our sovereignty. I'd really love to hear what you guys think about this issue that we're faced with. You can always hit me up on the comment section down below. Let's have a conversation rather than protesting and fighting and going heads on about stuff. Let us look into resolving stuff through a round table, mediation, and people who are leaders need to also and just get used to the idea of going to the ground, going to meet your people and having a conversation with your people. If you loved me, for some more of my videos and some goodness of my pretty face, please do subscribe and like and share. Please, if you like my videos, don't make the mistake of hitting the bell notification so you will know every time I upload, and you will be the first to watch. Before people say, did you see? She has a video out, to be like, hey, you. I get notifications. I know. The moment it happens, the moment. That's all from me, lovely. Bye.